Hi, my name is Dale Filhaber, and I came to Boca Raton in 1978.
Hello, my name is Helene Mandel, and I am a volunteer interviewer for the Boca Raton Historical Society and Museum. The museum is conducting a series of interviews to document the development and growth of Boca Raton's Jewish community. Today is May 19th, 2017, and I am here at the television studio of Lynn University with Dale Filhaber. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Dale, can you tell us where you're from originally?
Sure, I'm from Flushing, Queens. I'm from a lovely area where we grew up with a multi-generational household. My grandparents lived with us. It was one of those homes where we had fish in the bathtub so we could have fresh gefilte fish for the holidays.
What was your reason for moving to Florida?
My current husband, Ed, he picked me up in a disco on Northwest 2nd Avenue and 20th Street. In 1978, I was visiting my parents who lived in Kings Point in Delray Beach. Eventually, he asked me to marry him. I figured, why not? I'll move to Florida.
What were your first impressions of Florida and the Jewish community here versus where you were before in Queens?
I was living in a very well-constructed Jewish community, and when I moved to Florida, or moved to Boca Raton, it was much different. It wasn't as consolidated. I didn't know where the other Jewish people were. As a matter of fact, I really didn't even know where the other young people were. And it took a little while to find my footing, which I eventually did, so I could start my Jewish journey here in this community. I can elaborate if you want.
I was going to ask you
Okay.
how different it was from Queens.
Well, Queens is Queens, and now here, so many people have the same accent I do, I've never lost it. But when I came here to South Florida, again, I did not find a lot of other young Jewish couples. And that was something I needed to find. My husband answered an ad in the Sun Sentinel saying that there was a softball league, a men's Sunday softball league from the JCC. And we went with our new daughter. You know, you take your baby, the stroller, a blanket, and all the women sat and we watched the men play softball. And that became my love affair with the Jewish Community Center, which lasts right through right now.
Any experiences or encounters with anti-Semitism?
I truly have never had an anti-Semitic experience in this community. But then again, when you spend most of your time on a Jewish campus, that's not what you're going to find. And this is a wonderful Jewish community with so many layers and so many different kinds of Jews. It's wonderful. And even as I go back to when we started and when we came to the community, it was when the synagogues were just starting to emerge. Bethel was here, B'nai Torah was here, and they were fledgling synagogues. And we were all interested in finding other people like us, and that's where we've met them.
So you became an active member of the Jewish community that was really just getting started?
Well, the JCC opened its doors in 1983 in a converted church on Spanish River Boulevard. By that time, I was living in Pheasant Walk. And if you lived in Pheasant Walk and you needed diapers, there were only two places you could go. You could go to Spanish River and Federal Highway. There was a Winn-Dixie. Or you could go up to Military Trail and Atlantic Avenue. Those were the only two stores. Everything around us was either a cow field or horse fields. People really don't understand what Boca was then compared to what it is now. And I got involved at the Jewish Community Center, and starting with the Professional Jewish Business Network, which was called Progenet, and I met many other young families looking to make their mark in the community. We were starting businesses, we were starting families, and many of us became affiliated with the Jewish Community Center. And as I said to you earlier, I have been an active volunteer at the JCC for, I guess, about 33 years.
That's wonderful.
It is wonderful. It's where we met our friends, where our families grew up. I became president of the JCC from 1993 to 1997. And then that was 1983 to 1987. That's pretty scary. Whatever it was. Anyway, when the JCC moved out west, so did we, because my kids went to Donna Klein Jewish Academy. As a full-time working mom, I needed the JCC services for after-school care. So when the JCC and the Jewish Federation moved to the Siemens campus out west, we moved out west too.
Where did your children go to school?
My kids both went to Donna Klein Jewish Academy, then they went to Olympic Heights. Both kids went to the University of Florida. And my daughter got her law degree in LLM at the University of Miami.
Practicing attorney?
Practicing attorney with
That's
3
great.
kids.
Not easy.
Not easy.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you did with Federation?
Absolutely. My Jewish journey in this community has taken me through the JCC, the Jewish Federation, and many of the other agencies in our Jewish community. And I have been very blessed to have held many positions in the JCC and in the Federation. As I mentioned, I was a JCC president. I've been a vice president of the Federation. I've chaired many different committees, including Israel Fest, the Israel's 50th anniversary, where we brought 16,000 people onto our Federation campus. I've chaired the Federation Israel 60 mission. I've chaired Maccabi 2000. I co-chaired that. I've chaired the marketing committee. I've been lucky to be on national boards as well. I've been blessed to have been on the Hillel board, and one of my memorable experiences was mentoring marketing students at FAU. Right now with Federation, I am on the foundation board. I chair the marketing committee, and in the women's philanthropy area, I am a vice chair in charge of women's giving, planned giving, legacy giving, and endowments. So I've had a very full career as a volunteer in our Jewish community. Yes.
Do you think you would have been that active if you would have stayed in New York in the Jewish community?
You know, that's a question I really can't answer. I have no idea.
You know, here you came to a new place, you were looking to meet people.
You know, when I look back at all the years I've been active in the community, and I think of some of the people I'm friends with, some of them were the people I met the very first day we went to that men's softball team. And I know that my dearest, dearest friends are people I've met through either the Jewish Community Center or Donna Klein Jewish Academy, and certainly with the Jewish Federation. These are my best friends in the whole world. And it's just been a wonderful experience.
Like everything fell into place.
Oh my God, we know that we're blessed.
It's great. As you've seen Boca grow, do you see any religious divide between East Boca and West Boca?
I think we are currently experiencing a wonderful Jewish Renaissance in terms of our relationships between the synagogues, between federations and the synagogues themselves with each other. I think we're in a really good place. I know that everybody is looking for money. Everybody is looking for members. I just hope that one day through our Federation endowments, we will have a community where any kid who wants a Jewish education can get one. Any child who wants to go for Jewish camping can go. And we can have the kind of we can build the kind of Jewish community that will take us into the next century.
You don't find with the younger children, high school age, college age, that they're as interested, or do you think it's just family, how interested the parents are and active?
I think it's our job to make sure that there are things in this community that interest our children, our young adults, our high school and college students. And we have to make sure we have the infrastructure here and the programming to keep them not only involved, but interested. It's hard. You know, it's hard when a kid goes to, say, Olympic Heights, and they might be 20%, Jewish kids might be 20% of the population, which across the country is a very large population. This is in Boca Raton, it's a good population. I think that the Jewish community is so ingrained in Boca Raton that it's just part of the fabric and vibrancy of this community. And again, my goal and my dream is that one day every kid gets to go to Israel. Every child gets to have Jewish programming, whatever they want, Jewish dating, you know, all sorts of things. You know, our whole goal in life, we want our kids to meet a nice Jewish other kid. That's what we want.
What are your thoughts basically on the future beyond what you just told us? You're
Okay.
just saying you expect it to grow and the families are going to
do.
be facilitating it.
I think that one of the biggest changes I've seen in our Boca Raton community is we are starting to create a multi-generational community. That's what I grew up with in Queens. That's what I want to see here in Boca. I believe that, you know, we have been known as a snowbird community with part-time residences who have allegiances to their northern community and haven't felt as completely at home and part of our Jewish community here in Boca Raton. As more children reside and come back to Boca Raton and have their families, this is what gives people not only continuity, but it gives them ownership in the community, and that's what we're trying to build. So for me, I'm so blessed. I have children who live in Miami, and I have children who live right now in Boynton Beach. And I see them as becoming active stakeholders in our Jewish community. And that's what I want to see. I want Jewish grandchildren. I want them to be here. And that's what we have been working hard to build in this community, and that's what I want to see continue as our community matures and develops into this multi-generational community.
When did you start your business?
My business is Dataman Group Direct. We sell direct mail and telemarketing lists. We started in 1980. We are a national company, a boutique agency, and our son is part of the company, started with us about 10 years ago, which is great. As I mentioned to you earlier, it's my exit strategy. And it's a great business.
Any other thoughts on the Jewish community in Belko? Are you active? Which temple do you belong?
I belong to B'nai Torah, and just last week, this is a good story, about 2 weeks ago, my daughter-in-law, who is pregnant with our 4th grandchild, called up and said, we have some friends from YAD, Young Adult Division at Federation. She's very active on the board, and they want to go shul shopping. Can we go to shul with you on Friday night? So after I hung up the phone and I did the dance of joy, we went to shul with my son and daughter-in-law and their friends. And it was wonderful because to me, that's what it's all about, you know. You hope you raise them, you hope you send them to a Jewish day school, and you hope you do all the right things. And like I said earlier, we're blessed.
Any other thoughts on life in Boca, the changes in it over the years?
As I said to you earlier, when we moved to Boca Raton, our first apartment was in Meadow Reach Apartments near Boca Regional Hospital, one of those rentals on Southwest 12th Avenue. And there was very little west of I-95. And when I tell my kids that Yamato was a dirt road and there was no mall, because the town center didn't get built, I think, until the mid-'80s. And when my children were born down here, they were born at Bethesda because there were no maternity services at Boca Regional. So when I look at Boca Raton and Delray Beach and our whole area, I see how our community has grown, and it's been so exciting. And I really feel ownership in our Jewish community. You know, I used to give hard hat tours on our campus before it was built. And I work out at the JCC almost every day. So I truly feel ownership on our Jewish campus and of our Jewish community.
Thank you. Any other things about the changes in the area that you can tell us about? Do you see a change in the ages of the people at the synagogue?
I think our generations have changed. I do. I think certainly a lot of the older people have passed. And I remember when I started in my Jewish communal experiences, so many of the people that I looked up to and admired are no longer with us. Now it's our job.
Yeah, I can tell in the time I've been down here, the changes in the populations of the synagogues.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything else?
No, I'm good. Are you good?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.